Hello, I'm Dr. Roger Levin here at the Chicago Midwinter Meeting. I'm with Kevin Henry from Dental Economics, and we've been talking about changes in dentistry. One of the most exciting things I can share with you is that dental data has now evolved to the point where practices are able to set key targets and benchmark against those targets to determine their performance, their potential, and whether or not they're achieving their goals. By targets, what I'm referring to are key metrics. For example, collecting 99% of all money owed to the practice, or having less than a 1% no-show last-minute cancellation rate, or having a 90% case acceptance rate, and I could go on. But the key issue with targets is to understand that we have now been able, through the business world, to understand how mathematical targets are created for business and evolve those into useful nature for the dental practice. So let's talk about a few other targets. For example, one of the most important is that 98% of all of your patients be scheduled at all times. We encourage you to do this within the next 90 days. Now, the two levels you need to think about here. Level 1 are overdue patients. Any patients overdue need to be contacted using what Levin Group calls the 3-3-3 method. 3 calls in 3 weeks, followed by 3 emails in 3 weeks, followed by 3 letters in 3 weeks. Now, in my lectures throughout the country, people ask me, well, Roger, when does this become harassment? And the answer is never, because it all depends what the message is. If the message is about caring, then the 3-3-3 method is fantastic. If the method is about just leaving messages and why haven't you called me back, then it becomes harassing. We have had tremendous success with this methodology. The other level is reactivating overdue patients. This is an area we have paid exquisite attention to at Levin Group during the recession, because as you know, and I know as a dentist as well, the recession has been so deep and powerful that we can't overlook any opportunity today. So patient reactivation has become very important, and the method we use is a 90-day approach to reactivate 85%. There's another target. You want to reactivate 85% of all of your overdue patients within the last 4 years. After 4 years, it becomes very difficult to have some of your patients come back, because at that point they become very ingrained in either not going to the dentist, which results in emergency patients, or moving to other practices. Targets are critical, and the 3-step process we're now using as our overarching philosophy for practice management is: number 1, set key targets for your practice. Number 2, build systems to achieve the targets. For too many years, people have been putting in systems or parts of systems more to get through the day than to achieve the targets that they've set. And lastly, use what we call value creation scripting in order to make the systems work better. Value creation scripting is different than scripting. Up until 4 years ago, which I now call the old days, the pre-recession days, scripting was critical, but it was about communication. Today, value creation scripting, and we have thrown out all of our old scripts and redone all of these. Value creation scripting is about the word influence. Scripts are created psychologically to influence patients to get a positive result in the practice. So for example, scheduling, you need to be influential. Case presentation, you need to be influential if you're going to hit that target of closing 90% of all the elective and non-elective cases that you present. So value creation scripting is an area that I learned about through the work of Dr. Robert Cialdini, a PhD in the science of influence. And we have studied that and then modified it, translated it, and brought it to dentistry. So I hope that this information is of interest to you. I want to leave you with one last target that is so important for doctors, and that is for 98% of the dentist's time to be directly involved with patient care. Because Levin Group is what we call production side consultants, we increase production, we understand that any time a doctor is not with a patient, there is no production, although there is from the hygienist, of course. But in terms of doctor production, which makes up 75% of practice production, when the doctor's not with a patient, there is no production. However, even when the doctor is with a patient, it is amazing that a lot of the time is non-productive. When we work with practices, we are often able to see a lot of time being used by doctors that is not productive time, items, activities, and methods that could be used by staff instead of the doctor doing it himself or herself. So set your targets, build systems to achieve your targets, and use value creation scripting to to make your systems work better. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope this has been beneficial. If you ever have a question, feel free to look on our website at levingroup.com. There's a resource center there with lots of free information as part of our give back and value building in the profession. Good luck.